Definitely Sneaky But Not Sneaky is a casual game to kick back, relax, and play with some smooth jazz playing in the background. It's a simple game with a simple premise. You just collect the cube, kill all the enemies, and escape. The graphics are minimal, with plenty of blood to go around, while the bodies follow a ragdoll physics engine, so you can see them flop around while they're dead. This game's mechanics are heavily inspired by Hotline Miami, where you and your enemies die in one hit. But the big difference between the two is that I would argue that this one is more tactical and you can't go guns blazing as you could in Hotline Miami, and we'll get to why in a moment. And another one is that this game is more relaxing than Hotline Miami. It's also a lot more casual, especially with the smooth jazz playing in the background. That's basically all the game soundtrack that there is. It does get to you after a while, but luckily you can turn off and turn on your own bangers. But before we get deeper into this game, the developer recommends playing this game with a controller instead of a keyboard and mouse. But personally, I found it easier to play with a keyboard and mouse, especially with the aiming, and that's mainly because it felt easier to aim rather than a controller. However, there isn't a way to rebind the keys within the game, so you're kind of stuck with the control scheme that it gives you. The scheme isn't bad, but I still would have liked to move some keys around, especially the restart button to make it closer, that way I can get back into the action more quicker. But nonetheless, the levels only take seconds to get through, and restarts are as quick as a button press. And as you progress, you unlock more items and be able to purchase more from the shop. And those include weapons, mods, and utilities. And of course, you can customize your loadout with having, say, like dual weapons or just having shurikens for your utilities. And there is some strategy to this game, as some loadouts work better on certain levels than others. While you're going through the levels, you may notice how the stealth mechanics work in this game. And to sum it all up, enemies react to thrown objects like shurikens, or they react to gunfire or explosions, seeing you, and whistling. And that's about it to the stealth. There's nothing to do with lighting, and they also don't seem to react to dead bodies or blood on the floor. So in a way, they're kind of just there. And I do have to say that it would be nice to be able to just sneak, get the cube, and exit without having to kill anybody, given how this game is based around sneaking. But that's not an option in this game. You have to kill everybody, which is a shame. I would have liked to have seen that implemented, but oh well. During your killing spree, you may notice that aiming can feel odd at times, and that's because the bullets come from your arm. But that also allows you to spread out your arms and just do doing some Matrix moves where you're holding out the guns to your sides and just shooting off on both directions. So you can plan out some cool moments if you have the skill for it, but otherwise you'll be playing through this game more tactically. And that feels forced upon you, because if you're going on a guns only loadout, it's not worth it until you get, say, the lever action rifle, or you get the max ammo up mod. And that's due to the low ammo that you have on guns, and sometimes it doesn't feel like you get enough ammo for some levels. So it's an odd thing to have, because this game doesn't seem to emphasize either stealth nor action, but it seems like action is not favored in this game because of how crippled your tools can be given the low ammo and how the enemies can overwhelm you at some points. So despite the title being definitely sneaky but not sneaky, you're going to be sneaky most of the time, if not all. The levels do get repetitive fast, and the scenery doesn't change much at all, but some levels are sprinkled in that break the mold with mainly in enemy placements, but otherwise it'll all feel the same. I will say that the lighting is sometimes nice to look at, especially with how the bullets light up the dark. And while those bullets are either coming at you or coming at the enemy, there is a nice slow-mo effect, kind of like the Matrix again, that gives you time to try and dodge it if you're skilled enough, or just to have some nice moments where you have an explosion that takes out the whole room. And if you don't happen to like it, or just want to get rid of it, there is a mod that you unlock later in the game that will disable it. One thing that I do have to note is that the AI is pretty stupid. They have a short-term memory, and if you can attract them to a spot, they'll all gather there and allows you just to throw a grenade or a shuriken and kill them all. They also seem to forget about you if you create a distraction somewhere else, even though they're trying to chase after you, so it can be odd at times. So as you can see, this is more of a sneakier, casual, and even sometimes just relaxful type of Hotline Miami. I can see this being a good game if you're coming off of work or school and you just need to relax for a bit, but you don't want to get engaged into something intenseful. So you just hop on this, play for a little bit, and be able to cool down. Definitely sneaky, but not sneaky. Only takes about an hour and a half to get through the first run, but once you do that, a sneakier mode activates after beating it, and that's just another difficulty level that adds in exploding kamikaze enemies like from Serious Sam. It also adds in a ghost that follows you as soon as you start the level, that if it gets up to you, it kills you, so it forces you to keep moving, and you can't just stay still. So I guess it makes you be more action than sneaky, or at least be like a speedrunning assassin. There's also another mode called Survival Mode, and it's basically like Call of Duty Nazi Zombies, where you have these slow-moving green enemies that you see from the campaign. They're basically just melee enemies, and you can purchase guns from the wall or unlock a new passageway, and it's the whole 3 hits you're dead. You get the idea. One thing that I do wish was added on to were more enemy varieties, because there's only 2 within the first run of the game, just the enemies with knives and enemies with guns. It would have been nice to see like maybe one that throws grenades or something, or maybe even have cameras, turrets, or some sort of security system, or even landmines for that matter. But nonetheless, definitely Sneaky But Not Sneaky is a fun game just to kick back, relax, and play after a tiring day. That's it for this one. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. See ya.